Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the new segment of my channel, Damati03. In in this segment, I'll be teaching you guys a couple of math concepts. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into quadratics. And so what a quadratic function is it's a function. It is a function, kind of like a linear function, but it produces a different shape. And the reason it produces a different shape than the linear function is because the parent function of a linear function is usually just y equals x, right? For a quadratic, it's going to be y equals x to the power of 2, or x squared. And that's not going to produce a linear line like this. That's going to produce a totally different shape. This shape or graph is called a parabola, and it looks something like this. Oof. Wow, okay. So the parabola, the way we denote it usually is it has a vertex right here, or the vertex is where these two branches, as you call them, intersect right here. This vertex right now is at the origin, which is 0, 0. So there are a couple ways of writing quadratics, just like there are a couple ways of writing linear functions. Like for a linear function, you have point-slope form, slope-intercept form. With quadratics, you have standard form. Let me go ahead and write this down. You also have factored form. And you have vertex form. And they all are named for a certain reason, like this. Vertex form gives you the vertex. Like, as soon as you see the equation, you will be able to tell where the vertex is right after watching the next video in this series. For now, I'll just go ahead and introduce these topics. So the standard form looks a little bit like the parent function, but it's a little more extended. It's going to be the same y equals x squared, but now we're going to have a couple of extra variables in here. We're going to have y equals a times x squared, and I'll explain in a little bit what the a does. So I have a times x squared plus b times x plus c. And so when you have a set of, or when you have an expression like this is called a trinomial, when you have three different terms in a certain expression. So our factored form is going to be about the same complicated. It's going to be y equals a. Again, it's the same a. Don't think it's a different a, because you can write a quadratic equation in all three different forms unless the graph is weirdly positioned where you can't write it in one of the forms. But usually you can write it in all three forms, and in that case a is always going to be the same in all three of these. So again, I have a, and then this time I'm going to have in parentheses x minus, let's choose a random letter p. So it's going to be x minus p, and then close parentheses, and then another parentheses, x minus another pq. Why not q? Okay, and I'll also explain what that does in a second, but right now let me just show you the vertex form, which is also y equals, and then we're going to start off with the a, and then we're going to have in parentheses x minus h whole squared, because we still need that squared term That way we can make it a parabola, not a linear function, plus k. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take it from the top. So the a value, what that does is that tells you how much the parabola is stretched. I'll go ahead and further explain these in detail in the next video, but for now I'll just introduce it. So the a value stretches the parabola. So if it's like 2, then the parabola is going to look something like this. It's going to be a lot more steeper. And if it's probably 1/4 or negative 1/4, then it's going to reflect over the x-axis, and then we're going to have 1/4, which is going to widen it more. And again, I'll go ahead and clear these up in the next videos or so. Okay, our factored form, that tells us, standard form tells us a, and it also tells us c. C is the y-intercept of the graph, or where the graph intersects the y-axis, right here. And then our factored form, it has the same a right here, and this a is the same as this, so this a will also tell you how far stretched the parabola is. And then the p and the q, these are the x-intercepts of your graph. So if I have a parabola that looks something like this, arrows right there, okay, and then let's say that is a parabola, this right here is one x-intercept, and this right here is another x-intercept. So let's go ahead and just say this x value right here is -7, and this one right here is -4. In that case, the equation to this, if a equals 1, it's going to be in parentheses x minus -7 or minus -4. It doesn't matter which one comes first, as long as you put both of them there, because this is going to be one x-intercept and this is going to be the other. They can be interchangeable because of the transitive property in multiplication. So you can do x, and then it's going to be minus -7, which is the same thing as x plus 7, times x plus 4, which is x minus -4. That's going to be the equation to that parabola right there that I just drew in. And then our third form, the vertex form, is the one that we will be the most familiar with, because this is the one that is used to do most transformations to a parabola. And again, the a term is the same as the a term in the a variable in all the other three forms. And this time we have an x minus h whole square plus k. So the h, what that represents is how far over to the right or to the left you have moved your parabola. So let's say we have a parabola right here, right? And let's make it 2. Let's pretend that this is too steep, or twice as steep as this one right here originally shown. So in that case, our formula is going to be y, here, I'll do it down here, y equals 2, because this is twice as much stretched as this, times x. And now h is going to represent how far over to the right we've moved it. Let's say this is 6, 3. If this is 6, 3, and that's the vertex, then we're going to go ahead and plug in the points of the vertex right here. So from vertex form, you can find the vertex, which is always h, k. And so our h is 6 and our k is 3, so we're going to go ahead and plug that in. So we're going to have 2 times x minus 6, and then close parentheses whole square, plus 3. If you go ahead and graph that on a graphing calculator or on a graphing calculator, then you should get this result right here. So these are all 3 forms of a quadratic equation. tune in next time for more practice. Please hit that like button and please subscribe for the next episode of this. Thanks for watching.